Oh, yeah, the great Anthony Kiedis, man. Red Hot Chili Peppers out of Cal. I almost said out of Compton. I don't think the Red Hot Chili Peppers are out of Compton. I think I was thinking of Ice Cube. Anyway, welcome back to the show. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Thursday. A lot to get to, by the way, coming up in the next hour. Lawrence Weekly is the Clark County Commissioner for District D here, and he went to the NFL Draft last year. He is a huge part of this big event that is called the NFL Draft that is coming to Las Vegas, and he's going to shed some light on what we can expect. That's coming up in hour number 3. But joining us on the line right now, we love it when we always hear the Dirty Dining from Darcy Spears from ABC 13. She does a wonderful job, and she joins us on the line right now. Darcy, thanks for joining us again. How are you?
I'm good. You guys just like to talk dirty with me. I know how it goes.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, Darcy, because it is AVN Expo week, and we do have a company that sells sex pills that are coming in studio in hour number 3. So,
we got a theme going here.
We do. Today we do, Darcy. That is definitely true.
Very, very consistent.
I'll tell you the theme that you have, and that is restaurants that break health laws. And the Pearl Walk to Go is, wow, that sounds like a wonderful place. The Pearl Walk to Go. That is a Chinese takeout restaurant on Charleston and Durango, very close to the studios here, by the way. What did you find at this place, Darcy? What were the issues?
Just a whole lot of filth. It's one of those where when we get the request in from the health district, we read the reports and we look at the pictures, and I'm sitting there going through the pictures before we even went there, just making all kinds of sound effects going, ooh, oh my gosh, what is that? Just so much grease and gross.
Ooh.
And just food debris and clutter and dirt and dust and caked on grease, and some of the pictures were so bad that you couldn't even actually tell what you were looking at because it was so just caked in filth and muck.
Wait, so you're telling me you saw pictures of this kitchen and you couldn't even make out what you were looking at because it was that disgusting?
In some of the photos, I'm like, what am I even seeing here? There's there's stalactites of grease on something, and then, you could tell maybe it was a piece of equipment or a pipe underneath something, but it just had this layer of black gunk, and it was just very clear that there had not been a deep cleaning at this facility in a very long time. Just about every single surface was so dirty. I'm like, okay, we're filthy dining this week. This is not at all good.
It sounds like my sounds like my teeth because I haven't had a deep cleaning in a very long time. All right, so what?
Okay, George Washington.
So what is the end result, Darcy? Here, did they fix anything? Are they back up and running?
Well, they were never shut down, surprisingly, despite the immense amount of excessive yuck that was all over the place and all the different violations, not only, of dirty conditions, but also issues with food temp. I mean, just literally everything was dirty. I think I could have listed everything in the kitchen if I'd have just gone down one thing at a time.
So like 100 demerits?
But also issues with food handling, an employee touching utensils and vegetables in a customer to-go container after handling raw shrimp and not washing hands, stuff that wasn't properly cooled, leaving a cell phone on a cutting board. Despite all of this, they only got a 39 demerit C grade. You have to get over 40 demerits to be shut down. So they avoided shutdown by 2 demerits. They were able to continue operating with a C grade. They still, as of yesterday, had that C grade and had not yet scheduled reinspection. But when we were there, they were in the midst of what's called an intervention training, which is something that the health district requires when it's very obvious, that there's a disconnect between what the health code requires and what a restaurant is doing or understanding.
That sounds necessary. So I have a question. I'm actually dealing with a black mold issue at home right now. But when a restaurant or when someone that you come in contact with who is, that just ends up on your list has to deal with black mold, what does that remediation process consist of? How long are they shut down for, and how many demerits is that?
Well, it depends on, where the mold is found. For example, there's mold in the ice machine almost every week in dirty dining. You'll find whether it's pink mold or black mold or slime or whatever. And usually that's just a standard clean out that they get going on, and it's not a demerit of any real consequence. It depends, again, if you have a major infestation of mold, if it's gotten into your drywall or whatever, you don't see that as often in restaurants. It's more the mold in the ice machine variety. And if it got into the walls, of course, they'd have to pull out the drywall. Though some places probably, I don't know, but probably just paint over it and make it, oh, look,
exactly.
It's gone.
Yeah, exactly. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Darcy Spears, does her Dirty Dining segment on ABC 13 and joins us every week. Okay, Darcy, let's talk a little sushi. We all love some sushi, right? But apparently at 808, which is located on Durango and Warm Springs. By the way, I'm finding a pattern here. It seems like all these restaurants this week are close to the radio station. What happened? What happened at 808 Sushi that you can tell us about?
So thankfully for them, not nearly as bad as Pearl Walk. Oh, and before we leave Pearl Walk, can I just mention, when I asked what the problem was, the manager said, just not really understanding the rules and stuff. And I said, how long have you been in operation? And he goes, 15 years.
That's
right? And I'm just like, wait a minute, 15 years and you still didn't understand the health code?
That's only 5,000 days.
That's like me. That's like
kind of potentially dangerous for the public.
That's like me not being able to get in and out of a break, and then the program director asked me, Brian, how long have you been radio? Oh, 20 years. That's all. I mean, that's how ridiculous that is.
Anyway, so yeah, I needed to point that out
That's
because
unbelievable.
that was unbelievable. And then when I said, okay, so what's the program for keeping a clean kitchen? And his answer was cleaning more frequently.
Yeah, it seems like they're really doing a good job with that.
Anyway, so back to 808 Sushi on Durango and Warm Springs.
Yes.
Both the sushi bar and restaurant were shut down. It was an imminent health hazard of no hot water, which the owner called bad luck and bad timing because he said his plumber was already on the way to fix the problem. But water temperature was not the only issue there. Inspectors also found stuff like crab salad in the temperature danger zone. They were preparing food in a blender that was on the floor. I'm not sure why that was the place for the blender. But also dirty cooking equipment, shelves, floors, walls, cutting boards. Food handler not using soap when washing hands, which when you're making sushi is kind of scary. Although that's, of course, scary in any situation.
Of course.
You do need soap. It's a thing.
Gosh, yeah. That's what the women that I date keep telling me as well.
Soap matters.
True, yeah. Well,
water rinses, but it doesn't clean.
That is very, very true. Well, Darcy, before we let you go, you do such a great job for us. Can you please let us know where we can find you on television, where you air these segments, and where we could find you on social media?
Dirty Dining debuts every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. on 13 Action News Nightside. We re-air it on Thursdays in our 6:30 p.m. half hour. And, of course, it's always available online at ktnv.com. There's a Dirty Dining page there if you want to see previous reports. Also, my Twitter feed at DSPINV13, or, of course, you can look me up on Facebook. I post it on my own professional page every Thursday morning, and the station's got it as well.
Awesome. Well, Darcy, I'm really in the mood for sushi now. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, keep up the great work, and we look up to catching up with you next week, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Darcy.
There you go, Darcy Spears from ABC 13. I'm going to try to run into Peter Chen, who runs the Pearl Walk to Go. And I'm really in the mood to go to that restaurant now, too. Boy, that just sounds absolutely disgusting. Can I get a side of rats and rat poisoning?
That sounds like the dirtiest diner so far.
It's pretty bad. Can I get some rat poo on the side, please? Can you add that to the poo-poo platter? Oh, my God. Ooh, that is just some disgusting stuff. All right. Pat Mahomes made some very, very, well, some people would call it controversial comments. The reason why there are many of African Americans on social media that are very angry at Pat Mahomes right now. We'll get to that coming up next. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Message and data rates may apply.
What if there were a top-ranked business degree that gave you access to world-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors, but on your schedule? The W.P. Carey School of Business at Arizona State University is now accepting high-quality applicants for its MBA and Business Analytics master's degree programs offered 100% online. Learn more about the top-ranked W.P. Carey business degrees online. Text RANK to 79645. Again, that's RANK to 79645.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
The opioid epidemic is affecting countless lives, including young adults. Did you know approximately 45% of opioid prescriptions to adolescents are made by dentists, often after wisdom teeth removal? These drugs carry risks, but you can help reduce your risk or the risk for a loved one. If prescribed an opioid, ask your dentist to consider limiting prescriptions to 3 days, using over-the-counter pain relievers, and properly disposing of unused medications. For more information, go to shatterproof.org. This has been a message from Shatterproof, United Healthcare, and this station.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Amid Las Vegas's glitz and glamour lurks the tragedy of homeless veterans, our nation's heroes who return from war but continue to fight a battle for survival on our city's gritty streets. The basic human need of shelter shouldn't be a luxury to military heroes, which is why there is Veterans Village. Veterans Village is a nonprofit organization providing transitional housing, meals, and social services to homeless vets to give them a hand up. Veterans Village is a place of hope, but we can't do it without you. Be a hero to heroes and donate any amount you can afford at vvlv.org. That's vvlv.org. vvlv.org.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, a reminder, coming up here at the top of the hour, Clark County Commissioner Lawrence Weekley will be joining us. Why? Well, he's a big part of the NFL draft here in Las Vegas. He went there last year to watch it, to help him get ready for this year in Vegas. So he's going to give us the rundown on what he expects, what he's working on for the NFL draft coming up soon right here in Las Vegas. Clark County Commissioner Lawrence Weekley here in just a few minutes. And then you're not going to want to miss 11:30, our segment. His name is Matt Long. He's in town for the AVN Expo, the Adult Entertainment Expo. Sex pills. He runs his own sex pills company. Are they dangerous for you? Do they really work? We will talk to Matt. His last time does happen to be long, so we'll ask him a little bit about that coming up in hour number 3. I want to get to Patrick Mahomes. As you know, this is the biggest point of his career right now because he has a chance to win a Super Bowl, to win a championship. I think Pat Mahomes is a great guy. He's a fantastic athlete and one of the most exciting football players to watch in the NFL right now. He's taken a little flack on social media. I think it's wrong. Here's why. Going back years ago, Pat Mahomes has some tweets that have surfaced about George Zimmerman, and he kind of took George Zimmerman's side, but is very similar to my opinion on the George Zimmerman case, which is, there's no law that said you can't follow somebody, and it was Trayvon Martin that attacked George Zimmerman first and committed assault. So here's what Pat Mahomes said. He said, yeah, there was no reason for Zimmerman to follow, but he also says, I don't understand the point of him following him with the guy. He also goes, but not to follow. These Twitter comments are a little strange.
Was it like 17, 18 years old?
Yeah, well, he started off by saying, stop resisting or assaulting a cop. That really has nothing to do with Trayvon. Then he went on to take Zimmerman's side, and he basically says he thinks it was a bad misunderstanding that went bad. He also went on to echo exactly what I said on Twitter. And again, this was years ago. This was in 2013 when he made these comments. So basically, he's saying what I have said on this show all along, that Zimmerman, you can disagree with him following Trayvon. You could say whatever you want about him, but the bottom line is he didn't break the law, and based on the evidence, Trayvon broke the law first. So do you think it's fair now that...
stop grasping at straws. This kid was 17 years old when he made these statements.
Yeah.
He's a junior in high school, for Christ's sakes. I was a complete functional moron at 17 years old, and I imagine probably 90% of the country is as well.
So there are
you can't judge this kid based on... It wasn't an aggressive, egregious tweet. It was just...
No, it wasn't.
I'm not really sure what's going on here. It looks to me like George Zimmerman was attacked first, and he just defended himself, which he did.
So there are some idiots on social media that are disagreeing with both of us. This guy named Steven on social media says, yo, is this story of Patrick Mahomes supporting Zimmerman in his killing of Trayvon Martin true? And am I tripping for feeling type of way crazy? First of all, this guy can't speak English, number one. And number two, just because Pat Mahomes says Zimmerman didn't break the law doesn't mean he's supporting Zimmerman, you doofus, you buffoon.
Well, you would argue the same thing that, if this was a Trump conversation, that you would be complicit in supporting Trump, or you'd be complicit in this particular situation. I'm saying you've done it before quite a few times in the political realm, but I agree
what does Trump have to do with this?
That is total buffoonery. I'm just pointing out your hypocrisy just for this particular situation.
Okay, so when have I gone after somebody and said they were a murderer when they didn't commit a crime?
Like, for example, when Trump does something wrong and someone condones it, you say they're complicit and you call them a buffoon. Well, you just did the exact same thing.
We're talking about murder. He's calling somebody a murderer. I've never called Donald Trump a murderer before, have I?
No.
This guy is calling saying he's supporting a murderer. George Zimmerman is not a murderer. The evidence speaks for itself. Another guy on social media said, I can't believe you're a supporter of Zimmerman. First of all, Mahomes is not supporting Zimmerman. He's supporting the law. And the law said that Zimmerman didn't commit a crime. Why are people so stupid? Why are people so dumb? Other people on Mahomes' Twitter, how do you believe Zimmerman is innocent? Well, maybe because it has something to do with the fact that he was innocent in the court of law, you dope. Well, God, I cannot believe how dumb people are. Another guy, Patrick Mahomes supports George Zimmerman in case you were deciding who to root for in the Super Bowl. Another moron, okay?
Keep in mind, this is also San Francisco, one of the most liberal cities in the United States, and that's Patrick Mahomes' opponent, the San Francisco 49ers. So it's not surprising that some San Francisco 49ers fans are taking this approach.
Another guy says his tweet in 2011 was insensitive and ignorant. Please explain to me what is insensitive and ignorant about being right. These people on social media are so dumb, it is just unbelievable.
Well, the question about Zimmerman is, if he was not attacked by if Trayvon Martin did not attack George Zimmerman, would he be alive today? Would he have died in that particular situation? I think the answer is I don't think he would have died.
Look, the bottom line is Trayvon Martin had an extremely troubled past.
Sure.
Didn't mean he deserved to die that day.
No, of course not.
It's a horrible tragedy. With that being said, Trayvon was suspended from school several times, kicked out of his own house, had a perpetuity for violence, for fighting.
He was dealing guns?
He was fighting, and George Zimmerman, you could say whatever you want about him, but he did not break the law. We'll take a couple of phone calls on this one. Do you agree with Patrick Mahomes? Or do you agree with some of his naysayers on Twitter that are basically calling him a racist and an Uncle Tom and some horrible things? 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 257-5396. Let's go to Steven. Steven, you're first up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Steven?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, listen, guys, I mean, both you guys are, obviously European. But you never want to understand is whether I was a gangbanger, a juvenile delinquent, or whatever. I'm going to 7-Elevens. I'm buying some candy. I'm walking home, minding my business, and some creepy punk-ass grown man starts to follow me. So, okay, so think about this. Now, we both wasn't there. So if you see this creepy-looking punk grown man following you, I wish Trayvon had a gun and shot him.
Well, let me start out. Okay, hang on, Stephen.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hang on. In no way, shape, or form am I saying that Trayvon deserved to die. I've never said that on this show. With that being said, can you please explain to me what law Zimmerman broke?
Okay, he sat in front of a jury of his peers apparently, and every one of those Europeans agreed that Zimmerman, the beast that he is, he had a right to stand his ground because why? The 17-year-old was kicking his ass, right?
Yes, he was.
So instead of him fighting back with his hands, he shot him because he's a damn coward.
Okay, but hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Let's go with that point. If somebody is on top of now, listen. I would never follow somebody. Okay, make no mistake about it. And I don't own a gun. But if I did, and somebody started a physical altercation with me, and all the evidence, according to witnesses and the forensics, that Trayvon Martin started the fight. And by the way, he started fights in high school too, so it's not out of the realm of. Well, hold on. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's important.
And I don't agree with his past as far as the take on that.
He started the physical altercation. So I'm saying if somebody, Steven, started a physical altercation with me and they were pounding my head against the pavement and beating me and I had a gun on me, you're damn right I would shoot that guy. You're damn right.
You're a coward. Because you're a coward.
Because I'm a coward? No, because I'm in fear. Because I'm in fear of my life.
Yeah, because you're following this guy.
You're
following me.
That's not against the law, so I'm going to ask you again.
Ask me again.
What crime did Zimmerman commit? It's a very simple question.
Listen, apparently the jury said he was innocent. So
I'm not asking you about the jury. I'm not asking you about. I'm asking you, Stephen, personally. What crime did he commit?
This is what he did. He violated this man's personal space.
How close was he to him? How close was he to him? Was he 2 feet away?
Could I say this? You can't even call him a man. He was a boy. He was 17 years old.
So your opinion.
So you got a grown man.
Yes.
You got a grown man violating a kid.
Okay.
By stalking
your definition of violating is different than mine. There's
well, if you approach me and I look back and I'm walking home and it's the middle of the night and I see a creepy ass man walking behind me.
What defines?
We don't know what was said, but apparently he must have told the man back up. And Zimmerman was told by the 911 operator.
Okay, but I understand, Stephen. Listen.
Zimmerman was told by the 911 operator, do not pursue. So he didn't listen to the orders that was given to him.
But he didn't break the law. I understand. I wish he did. But Stephen, I get your point. But again, I asked you 3 or 4 times in that conversation what laws specifically did Zimmerman break, and you didn't name me one law.
And the question is, if Trayvon Martin did not attack George Zimmerman, would George Zimmerman have attacked Trayvon Martin? Would this confrontation have taken place? Would anything have happened?
I don't believe that.
I think the answer is no, and I think Stephen would have answered no.
Yeah, I agree. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Matt. Matt, you're next up on the Vegas Take. 257-5396 is the number to call. The reason why we're talking about Zimmerman is because Pat Mahomes put up some tweets back in 2011. Yeah, now he's in the Super Bowl, so people want to raise.
It was 2011 or 13?
It was 2011, I believe, when he put up these tweets.
So he was 15 years old.
I believe that is true.
That's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The kid's 20. The guy, he's now 24. He was a sophomore and probably a freshman in high school at the time.
Yeah, but Zimmerman, and by the way, Mahomes also said on his Twitter page, there was no reason for Zimmerman to follow him. And I tend to agree with that. It was certainly bad judgment, but it's not against the law to have bad judgment. The problem I have with people on Twitter is that they're saying that Mahomes is defending Zimmerman, and that's not what he's doing. He's defending the laws of the land.
Defending a murder. And if defending the laws of the land makes you an Uncle Tom, then How does that work?
Well, people want to put emotion into this and want to make this a racial issue when Zimmerman is not even white. So I'm sorry, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Mahomes is absolutely in the right. We agree on this 100%. If you think Zimmerman is a murderer, then,
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Tell me how he broke the law.
But was he not head of the neighborhood watch as well?
He was. It doesn't mean that you should be a wannabe cop and you should chase after
I'm not
somebody.
suggesting he's going to be a wannabe cop, but what does Neighborhood Watch do? They watch the neighborhood. Clearly that's what he was doing.
His mistake was not calling 911.
Obviously.
His mistake was following Trayvon Martin.
And when they told him not to follow Trayvon Martin, that was his biggest mistake. But I don't think that a physical confrontation would have ensued on behalf of George Zimmerman.
And I think Trayvon Martin's past is important here because he had a perpetuancy for violence and fighting. And the reason why I bring that up is because all the evidence points toward the fact that he started a physical altercation with George Zimmerman, meaning he was not afraid to start a physical altercation with anybody, particularly somebody that was following him. So this is the issue. This is the problem. And we had filmmaker Joel Gilbert on not that long ago. Said that he got out of the car to see which way he went, not following him. So I don't know what's true or not, but we got to take a break. Coming up next, we are going to be joined by Lawrence Weekly, Clark County Commissioner from District D. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the NFL upcoming draft right here in our backyard in Las Vegas. He is a big part of this and the celebration and all the happenings and doings. So if you want the latest information, the commissioner is going to be joining us next to talk a little bit about that right here on the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.